You're live. Large and in charge. Hey. The importance of keeping your word as a business, as a person. Just the importance of keeping your word. Stay tuned. And we're live. Or is it live or is it Memorex? Only raise your hand if you're over the age of 35. You'll know what I'm talking about when I say that. Used to be a very, I wouldn't say as much popular, anyway. Had to do with cassette tapes. Kids, millennials, you don't know what a cassette tape is? Google it. That's what we used to have to listen to. Or we didn't have to, but that's what, there were no iPods or iPhones or mobile devices when I was growing up. So if you wanted to listen to music that was not on the radio in your vehicle or on your person, you had to have, you probably had a cassette player. And I mean, some of these things were large and they were considered portable. And people would wear them like, go jogging and this huge thing. So anyway, that's way off the subject and topic. Business continuity. Well, I can tell you one thing. As a business, as a brand, as a person, if you say one thing and you do another, if you do not keep your word, if you make a promise, if you say, hey, listen, gonna do this, and you don't do this, well, it'll get out and it'll get around. Now, what does that have to do with anything? You know what? In the last 24 hours, for some reason, and I'm crooked. Let's see if I can adjust. Don't want to be crooked for you. Anyway, in the last 24 hours, there's been a couple different situations come up where I've had conversations or been a part of the conversation or am aware of a conversation. Anyway, where the gist of it was the person didn't keep their word. Or it didn't look like they were keeping their word. And what does that do? Well, you know what? It hurts you in a lot of different ways. It makes you untrustworthy, unreliable. It could, so in one instance, a business, a person in a business said they were going to be doing one thing. In fact, they were going to be, they sent a communication, an email. Get this. They sent an email. Now, this person was not a huge business at this point. They were a pretty decent-sized small business for the local community for quite a few years. But, as the years went on and it got down to just back to this one person as the actual business, they could only handle so much, only wanted to handle so much business anyway, so the client list really wasn't huge. And instead of reaching out personally with a phone call or stopping by, the person sent an email, said, you know what, I'm done, I'm retiring, I'm closing the shop up. But in the communication they said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide this, and I won't detail what this is. I'm going to provide this so that whoever you get to do the services I used to provide for you, whoever you now get to come in, they will just simply be able to open this up and be able to sit there and see what I've done, where you are, what you have, blah, blah, blah. That was months ago. Months. And it's not there. And, now this person, he's retired, he's done, he's gone out of business. So, you might say, well, I know I said that, but so what? Well, the person hasn't died. They're still a part of the community, the local community. They live there. It's hurt the legacy. It's hurt the overall brand of that person. It's maybe stunted or hurt the customers, because whoever was coming in now, they can no longer, they don't have anything to hand over. So essentially what happens, okay, so this is an IT field related issue. Now this one particular customer in mind has hired a new company to take over doing what they did before, and this company had to pay this new company in order for them to come in and do an examination of their network and their systems and all this type of stuff. And it's not that wouldn't have really happened before, but they might not have been charged as much time labor-wise had this person actually delivered on providing something so that this company could go in and go, okay, this is what we got. All right, this is where you're at. It might have been like a quick consultation type deal to just get an overview. But instead, the company ended up having to pay lots and lots and lots of stuff, of money, for this type of service. Then the other type of conversation that I was a part of was on a personal level. One person sat there and talked. So this individual has a friend who used to have, the individual's friend had a relationship with a significant other. See, I'm trying to be very, I'm not trying to be very pointing as to what it is. But let's say, so this guy has a guy friend. The guy friend had a girlfriend. They're no longer girlfriend, boyfriend. And the end of the relationship, the guy, he kind of really still wants to be in a relationship with the girl. Not so much on her part. And so anyway, the guy and his guy friend, anyway, the guy kind of likes the guy friend's ex-girlfriend a little bit. And so he went up and he was like, hey, listen, it's been a while. I understand things are going on. I was kind of thinking about asking your ex-girlfriend out. And what, if anything, would you mind? And the guy friend sat there and was honest and was like, yeah, I really kind of would. All right, well, cool. And so they agreed. The guy and the guy friend were like, all right, no problem whatsoever. I value our relationship. I don't want to put that in any kind of jeopardy or harm. So cool. I won't ask her out. And then a little while later on, some time passes. And the guy was actually considering asking the ex-girlfriend out to go see a movie, whether it be as a date or just as friends or whatever. And so the way the conversation was going was, well, wait a minute, you had a conversation, you had a discussion with your friend, and you talked about it, and he asked you, you asked him, and he stated, yeah, I'd kind of have a problem with it, and you two agreed. You agreed with him, and it was like, all right, cool, I don't want to damage our relationship, I won't do anything, and now you're going back on it. One of the only things that you can actually have that's yours, that can carry on, that can have some kind of value beyond anything else, is your word. All right? And so that's what I was like. I told the person, I was like, you've already put your word down. I can't stop you from doing it, but, you're as strong as your word is, and if you go back on your word, that could have future ramifications that you don't know about yet. And that's one of the things is, we look at the immediate and we don't see things for what they could possibly be further down the road. And that's the importance of keeping your word. If you make a promise, deliver on that promise. If you get behind or, it looks like you just really can't deliver on that type of thing, then what you need to do is you need to be upfront with everybody that you made that promise, that you gave that word to, and say, hey, listen, I tried. It looks like it's more involving than I actually can do by myself. I still want to do it. I'm just not positive I will, and I definitely won't be able to have this done for you or this available for you now. And I just wanted to let you know, people will value that. They may be upset that they're not getting whatever it is you promised, but people will also value, they should, they will also value what you're providing as an update, instead of ghosting them or just ignoring the situation or just moving on and acting like it's not there and it doesn't happen. Let me take the glasses off and so you can see the intent in my eyes. That's it. You're only as strong as your word. That's what you really have to go by. People will be understanding. People will eventually. People may not be understanding immediately, but they will be understanding eventually. And that's something you can't control on their part. The only thing you can control is how you are handling whatever it is that's going on at that time. If you gave your word, keep your word to the best of your ability. If you're unable to keep your word, give an update, let people know what's going on. Don't just ignore the whole situation. That's got better value for you than just leaving the whole situation alone in the first place. And that's really it. It's the importance of keeping your word. As a business, you don't keep your word, that will spread faster than you know. Another example of something that's going on, I know of a business, so there was 3 examples. I know of a business, and I know this is going kind of long, but anyway, I'm going to wrap up with this one. I know of a business, and this business sells cars. And so this business sold this one person, this one lady, a vehicle, and the engine in the vehicle died or blew up or whatever. But what's important to know is the lady has gone back to the business to try and get them to help rectify the situation or help her fix the situation, fix the engine. She's taken it to other places, and the business first made a promise, give us an opportunity to fix it and all this type of stuff. And then the business is not. So what has this lady done? Well, she's gone social. Now, social media and her going social, half the time I treat, actually more than half the time, usually every story that's out there like this, I treat almost like it's first being read in something like the National Enquirer, or one of those types of publications where it's probably more falsities than truth. There might be a little bit of truth, but I can tell you that the truth is always, there's 3 sides to a story. There's her side, there's his side, and then somewhere in the middle, mixed together, is the truth of what's actually going on. But it could be too late at this point. This person's gone social. The post has gotten a little bit viral. Apparently some other people that feel they have been wronged by the same place that sells vehicles, they're now rising up and commenting in as well. So, what could happen? Who knows? But this business should have tried to keep their word the best they could. They didn't handle the situation. And as the last part of keeping your word, it's a practice just like everything else. You need to set aside all the fears that you may have and just believe in the honesty and truth of coming forward and being that type of individual, and hopefully you will be able to get through it. And you may not do it perfect the first time, the second time, the 10th time, the 100th time, but hopefully each time you will learn a little bit more about what to do. So that's it. Leave me a comment. Let me know how this is how you like this. Was there anything else I missed? Tweet at me and you can let me know at I am David Vaughan. I'm on Instagram at I am David Vaughan. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.